What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another Boxycharm unboxing and try on. I have my July box right here in front of me. We're gonna open it up together, see what products are in here. I will give you the full retail value of everything in this box, and then we're gonna create a look using all of the products that are in here. Now, before we get started, I just want to let y'all know this video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I do purchase this subscription myself. It is my own money, my own wallet, so I do get to pick out the 3 products that are recommended for me. Also, if you are unfamiliar with Boxycharm, I feel like at this point most people are, but real quick in case you are unfamiliar, this is a monthly subscription service. There are 3 tiers that you can go with. I will have the details on those tiers down below in the description box, as well as a link to join if you are interested. You don't have to, there is no obligation. That is not an affiliated link, it is a referral link. Everybody gets one when they sign up for Boxycharm, but I have the middle tier, which is the Boxycharm. That one comes every single month, and you do get 5 full-size products in there, 2 of which are picked out for you, and the other 3 you get to pick from like a little slew of other products, and that is based off of the answers that you give in your beauty profile when you join, and you can update that at any time. But let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's start opening up the products and see what we got in this July's Boxycharm. So up first, you're going to get this little pamphlet. This comes in every single box, and it's just going to give you some detail on the theme for the month, some of the products that you could get. You're going to get sneak peeks for the next month's box, upcoming events that Ipsy is having, like sales, drops, things like that. And then there's always a QR code down here that you can scan, and it will take you to what's in your box, and you can look up the products, see how to use them, tips and tricks, things like that. I don't ever use this, but if you're new into makeup or unsure how to use the products, it can be very helpful. But up first, we have this from Tula. This is the Tula Skincare Radiant Skin Brightening Serum Skin Tint Sunscreen Broadband SPF 30. They gave me shade 05, which is going to be light neutral. I have no idea if that's going to be a good shade for me. This is a product that I will try, but I won't get a whole lot of use out of, just because I do have a sensitivity to chemical sunscreens. My skin can break out and kind of get really rough, and it's a little bit irritating. I can use it, but no more than like a couple of days in a row. But this is what the tube looks like right here. I'm actually excited about this. I've always wanted to try it, but again, it's got the sunscreen in it, so I never have. But I do enjoy Tula as a brand, and that looks a little deep for me. It looks better than the last complexion product that they sent me, but it's still going to be too deep. We're going to try it anyway. We're here for the science of it. So I really wish they would quit doing complexion products if they're not going to give you the opportunity to shade match yourself and pick out the shade that you want. Our next product is going to be this eyeshadow palette from Laura Geller. This is the Seasonless Staples Wildflower Wishes 14 Multi-Finish Eyeshadows. So let's open up this box. Everything is taped shut, and that's super annoying, but I should know better. Alright, so this is what the eyeshadow palette looks like. I have never tried eyeshadows from Laura Geller. I've never actually tried a whole lot from the brand, but I do think the packaging is very pretty. It is slim, it doesn't feel cheap, but it doesn't feel super luxe either. It is cardboard, and we open it up, and this is the color story that we're going to get. To me, this is very spring, very fall, so I do like the color story. I'm curious about the quality and the formula of these eyeshadows, and we're absolutely going to create a look with it. You do get a mirror, and I think this is really pretty, so I'm actually kind of excited to try this out. Okay, so up next we have a bronzer. This one comes to us from Jessamine. I do have a product from this brand that I got in last month's box, and I did really enjoy that one. It was like a cream blush stick that you could use on your eyes, your cheeks, your lips. It's like a 3-in-1 thing, and I liked that one. I thought it was really, really good. So this is one of the products I actually got to pick out myself. I will be honest, I was not a fan of the products that I got to choose from. I was really disappointed, and I had a really hard time, but this is one of them. So this is what the packaging looks like. It is plastic. It doesn't feel cheap, but it doesn't feel hefty either. And this is the bronzer on the inside. So I think this is a good bronzer. It's not too deep. I think it's actually going to work for me. I can't remember if I got to pick the shade or not. So if I didn't get to pick the shade, this is not going to work for everybody. I'm just saying that now. If you ordered this and you have a deeper skin tone, you're going to be really disappointed, but we'll try it on, see what the formula is like, see if it's patchy or anything. It does feel very silky, so that's a good thing. I don't know if it's super pigmented. Like, actually, I think that's okay. I don't know if that's like my perfect bronzer shade, but no, we're gonna try it on anyway. The next product that I picked is the Laura Geller Made to Multitask Eye, Lip, Cheek Palette. Think Pink. So this is what the packaging looks like. Again, like I said, there wasn't a whole lot to choose from, but I did think this one was really cute. I don't have a lot of experience with Laura Geller, and I have really been enjoying cream products. So this is what the packaging looks like. Again, we have that plastic. It feels actually about the same heftiness as this one over here. So not cheap, but not luxe. And then let's open it up. If I can get it open. I can't even open this thing. So this is what our little palette looks like. This is actually really pretty. You could use this as a bronzer, but when I first look at this, I see two cheek colors and a highlighter. So let's do a little swatch really quick and we'll see what it looks like, and then we'll test this out whenever we actually try on the products. So these do feel creamy. These don't feel super creamy. They do feel a little bit on the waxy side. They don't feel like they don't feel putty, they don't feel very balmy or anything like that. This is a powder, so just be aware that if you got this, be careful not to get the powder into the creams. But let's go ahead and start with the highlighter right there. Very pretty champagne highlighter. Might be a little bit too deep for my skin tone, but again, that is like a full-on swatch. And then we have the first blush. Very pretty, swatched out nicely. And then we have the other one as well. All right, so the last product in this box, you're gonna laugh because I told y'all I was not a big fan of the choices that I had to choose from, and I had a really hard time. So I ended up getting this little sponge duo right here. This is from Beauty Vanity, and you get 2 makeup sponges. That speaks volumes as to what I had to choose from, but that's just my personal preference. You may have found something if you have the same choices I did, but I figured I go through beauty sponges a lot. I use them a lot. It's not my preferred method of application for foundations, especially like a skin tint, but I do use them a lot. So I thought these would be fun to kind of pick up, see what the quality was like, if they were gonna be any good, and if they are, I have extra makeup sponges. So you get 2 of them. This one reminds me of like the Real Techniques one. It does feel very squishy, very nice. And then this one is like your typical Beauty Blender egg shape. So I think I'm gonna try this one today. So I'm gonna go ahead and add up the value of this box, let y'all know what it is, and then we're gonna jump into this. All right, y'all, so I've added up the price of all of these products, and the full retail value comes out to $198. So I spent $30 on the subscription plus tax, and I got $198 worth of product. Are the products actually worth that? I don't know. We're gonna try them on and see together. So let me go ahead and grab some other products from my collection to kind of fill in these gaps. We're gonna create our look, and then when we're done, I'm gonna give you my first initial impression thoughts on the products and this month's Boxycharm. All right, so I went ahead and zoomed y'all in a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump into this. I'm just gonna kind of run through all the other products that I use. I'm not really gonna sit and talk about them, but they will be listed and linked down below in the description box. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything that I use in my videos on my face, always check down there. I put as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little box, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw on my primer really quick, and then we're gonna try on this skin tint. Like I said, I do feel like it's a little bit too dark for me, but I'm still excited to try it out. I still wanna see what the formula is like, and even though it's something I'm not gonna be able to use like on the daily basis, I can still let y'all know what my opinion is on the product outside of the fact that it does have a chemical sunscreen in it. All right, so let's go ahead and try this on. So it does say this is a breathable serum skin tint with skin boosting essentials, including hyaluronic acid, ceramides, and collagen. I'm assuming this is going to give me a light to maybe medium coverage. Like I said, I've never used this before, but I'm just gonna go ahead and go in. Normally, I would apply this with a brush because it is a lighter coverage, but since I have the sponges, I want to try them out, and that's what we're gonna use. So this is what we're looking like. This is how it went on. This is gonna be so dark, but it is what it is. Hopefully it'll sheer out a little bit, especially since I'm using a sponge. This doesn't have a fragrance to it, so I do like that. I do enjoy Tula. I have a few things like skincare wise from the brand. I have one of their concealers, and I do really enjoy that. Yeah, this isn't too bad since I'm using a sponge. I think if I used a brush though, this would be way too dark for me. All right, so this is what the complexion is looking like. This is a smidgen too dark for me, but it did sheer out enough with that sponge that I think I can pull it off. I don't think I would be able to in the winter, but since I have a little bit of sun going on, I don't get very tan. It doesn't look too bad, but I think it's sitting nicely on the skin. It does feel very nice. It feels hydrating. It doesn't feel oily or heavy, and it does have a light coverage. But if you are new here, hello and welcome. I hope you are enjoying this video. I am 30 years old. I do live in Houston, Texas. It is very hot and humid down here, and I need my makeup to stay in place in the summer. It gets very hot. I sweat. It just kind of goes everywhere, but I prefer a more light to medium coverage foundation, so this is right up my alley. And I also prefer something that has more of a skin-like or a natural finish. I'm not too big on matte makeup, and I'm not too big on anything that's super glowy. If I had to pick one, I definitely would go more towards the glowy side, but I think this kind of fits in with my preferences perfectly. I wish it didn't have the SPF in it, but a lot of products are doing that these days. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and set my face really quick, and then we'll jump into the rest of the color products for the face. I know that the cheek colors are cream, but I think we're just gonna try them over the powder and see how they perform. If they don't perform well, they don't perform well. It is what it is, but I like to put my bronzer on first. I've been experimenting with putting blush and then bronzer on, and sometimes it works and sometimes it muds out a little bit much. So since I like to put my bronzer on first, and that is a powder, we're just gonna start with a powdered face. All right, let's go ahead and dig into this bronzer. So we did already swatch it, we saw what it looked like, but let's see how it performs on the skin. So I'm just gonna go in with this little brush from Smashbox. This is actually a foundation brush, but I like this one for bronzer. So not a whole lot of kick up in the pan. Let's see what this is gonna look like on my fair skin. I am very fair with a cool undertone, so it doesn't take a whole lot to bronze up my skin, and I have really been enjoying a lighter bronzer lately. I don't like to go in super harsh with my bronzers, and I don't really prefer one that leans super orange either. I'm liking the ones that have like this pinky or this red undertone, or I like something a little bit more neutral. Okay, I can see something. It's buildable, I will give it that. I can see that the more I put on, it's starting to build up that color. It's not patching, it's not skipping or grabbing, and it's not doing anything funky when I layer it up on itself, but I don't think this is going to be pigmented enough for anybody that's even a hair darker than I am. All right, so the bronzer is on. I do think it looks really pretty. It's not super powdery. It's not like the silkiest bronzer I've ever used. It didn't melt into my skin, but it didn't also leave like a chalky or a really powdery cast either. It does have like a slight like cocoa powder smell to it, very faint. I noticed it when I got around my nose. I didn't notice it any time before that, like opening up the palette. It is very pretty, but like I said, if you are just a smidge darker than me, this is not going to work for you. So I do like this. I like the way that it went on, but I don't know if they have more shades. I will look into it, and I will probably pop something up there and let y'all know. But let's move on to blush. So we have options, and I think we're gonna go with this one just because I'm doing a very neutral look with the eyeshadow. So I'm gonna do this blush right here, and then we'll do this highlight. So let me grab a brush for this. This is a good one right here. So this is a Singe Beauty FO3 brush, and I'm just going to dig into this one right here. It does pick up really nicely. Let's see what this is gonna do. Hopefully this doesn't destroy my makeup. I like the color. It's a buildable pigmentation, so it's not gonna be wild out of the gate. It does look a little bit more red than it looked in the pan, but that's okay. All right, so this is what the blush looks like. Pigmentation wise, I think it's very pretty. It blended out really nicely. I didn't have any issues with patching or skipping, and looking at it up close, it didn't lift any of the product underneath. So in my book, that is a winner when it comes to a cream formula. It doesn't feel too sticky. It doesn't feel like it dried down to a powder, but it also doesn't feel like it's going to behave like flypaper on your skin either. But I do think this is really pretty. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the highlighter. So I'm gonna go in with a Singe Beauty F07 brush, And we're just gonna pick this up and put it on the cheek. So it does pick up really nicely. It is a little bit on the powdery side, but it doesn't have a whole lot of kick up in the pan. Oh, that's really pretty. All right, so I do think that that highlighter is absolutely beautiful. I'm liking that when I look straight ahead, you don't see a giant streak. It's not as dark once I put it on as it looked in the swatch on my hand, and it melted into the skin absolutely beautifully. So it does have a beautiful glow. This is the kind of highlight that I enjoy. I'm excited about it, but let's go ahead and move on to eyes. So I've already done my brows. I've already primed my eyes with my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly. Let's go ahead and play with this little eyeshadow palette right here. So this is super neutral. I do love that we have this pop of orange. We have these greens in here. We even had this really pretty like terracotta shade up over here. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm trying to think of what I'm wearing today. I have a thing going on up at the high school today for like the seniors and stuff, and I don't want to show up looking, you know, a little out there and a little mismatched. So I think I'm gonna do something pretty neutral. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this shade right here. This one is called Marigold. My eye is already starting to water, so that's not good. Like I said in my last video, the one that went up yesterday, I'm a little bit under the weather right now with allergies, and my eyes are not cooperating with me, but I need them to cooperate for today. So I'm going to go in with a Game Beauty EO6 brush. I'm going to pick up that shade Marigold, and I'm just going to fluff this into my crease. If you've been here, you know my eyeshadow technique. I don't stray from it too often. I like to build up my crease first, and then I build up my outer corner, and then sometimes I'll throw in a little bit more depth, put something on my lower lash line, and then I usually do like 1 or 2 shimmers on the lid. Okay, so I think what I want to do next is I'm going to go in with this shade up here. This one is called Magnolia, and then I'm going to deepen up my outer corner with this shade down here, which is called Zinnia. I'm loving the names. I'm loving the theme. Very on point. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up that shade Magnolia with a Sigma E24 brush. Is that 24? Yes, that's a 24. I'm going to pick that up, and like I said, I'm going to build up my outer corner. And then I'll go back in with that other shade and give me a little bit more depth. I am going to take this onto my lower lash line, and I think I'm actually going to take it all the way across. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I like that idea. All right, so with this little brush from ZC, I don't know what it's called. Don't ask me. It came in that mystery box that we discussed a couple of videos ago. But I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to go into that deeper shade called Zinnia. And I'm just going to very lightly put a little bit of depth out here. I don't want it to overtake the look, but I like to have a little something out here generally. It just kind of gives me that little lift and definition that I like. Okay, so my lid is primed with my NYX Glitter Primer. Let's do some shimmer on this lid. So kind of what I'm thinking is I want to do this shade right here. This one is called Iris. I want to do that one on like the outer half of my lid, and then I want to go into Coneflower. Yes, Coneflower on the inner portion, and then I think we're going to do this shade as like a matte inner corner, and that one is called Aster. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up the shade Iris on my finger. This does feel very creamy, very soft and buttery. It doesn't feel putty-like, it doesn't feel very wet, but it's not dry either, so we like that. Okay, so next I picked up the shade Coneflower, and this one's gonna go right here on the inner portion of my lid, coming all the way over to my inner corner, but like I said, we're gonna keep that matte. This one felt very soft, very creamy as well. Neither one of these feel gritty and dry. So with a Sigma E57, I'm going to go into this shade up here. This one is called Aster, and I'm just going to pop this into my inner corner. Keep it light and bright and very matte. Alright y'all, so that is going to complete this look. I really like the way that this turned out. It's very simple, it's very everyday, very neutral, but it's still very beautiful at the same time. Now, I didn't do a whole lot with liner just because my eyes are watering a whole lot. So in my lower waterline, I just threw on a little bit of my Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liner in the shade Cinnamon. This holds up really well when my eyes start to water. And then I went in with my YSL Lash Clash in the brown shade. This is not a waterproof mascara, but I don't really have a whole lot of issues issues with this one either when my eyes start to water. I do have some non-waterproof mascaras that don't give me trouble, and this is one of them. And then on my lips, I just went ahead and threw on my Rhode Peptide Tinted Lip Balm. This is in the shade Salty Tan. I have absolutely been loving this, but I really like the way this turned out. I think it's absolutely beautiful, but let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to give you my first impression thoughts on this box and the products inside. Okay, so up first, let's chat about the Tula Skin Tint. So I think this is really nice. It's very lightweight on the skin. It didn't feel heavy or sticky, but it does feel hydrating. This is absolutely going to give you a light coverage. I did try and build it up just a little bit on my cheeks where I have some redness, and it didn't really do a whole lot. It just kind of added on more product. It didn't give me more coverage, but I do think this is really pretty if this is the kind of product that you're into. For me personally, I'm not going to be able to get a whole lot of use out of it because it does have that sunscreen in it, and it's just going to irritate my skin. So to give y'all a full review of this, it is going to take me a little bit longer because I can't use it day after day after day. I have to give my skin a good break in between, but I am excited about it and I do really like it, first impression. And honestly, once I got everything done, it's not as dark as I had it built up in my head. I do think I probably could have gone down just a smidge in shade range, but I don't think this is going to be unusable for me. Okay, up next, let's talk about the bronzer from Just Zemenia. I've already given you a lot of my thoughts on this. It went on really nicely. It feels very silky. It doesn't melt into the skin like some of the other like higher end bronzers that I have, even some of the ones that I have from the drugstore, but it didn't look chalky. It didn't look ashy or like powdery and cakey, anything like that. It did go on very nicely, and on my fair skin tone, I like the way that it looks. But again, like I said, if you have a darker skin tone, this is not going to work for you. It's going to be way too dark or way too light, and at that point I worry that it might start to look ashy. But formula wise, I think it's very nice. So if you're interested in it, go over to their website, see if they have other shades. I'm sure they do. At this point I've already told you, but I still don't know, and you can check it out because I do think it's nice. I think the pan is very big. How much product do you get in here? Does it tell me? 8.5 grams of product. That's a lot of product. So I do like this first impression. I'm just hoping that they have other shades, and I'm hoping that if you have a deeper skin tone, you didn't get the one that's this light. Okay, the little palette from Laura Geller. I'm really impressed with this. Y'all, I went in straight out the gate and just did the cream over the powder and didn't have any issues with it. The pigmentation is there. It is buildable. I like that we have the two creams, and I do like that this is a powder. My only issue, and I don't know if you can see in there, I've already gotten a little bit of that highlighter into this cream blush right here, so that's going to be an issue. I like it when like Patrick Ta did it, where he put the little thing over it, or even one size where it covers your creams and protects them from the powder. So just be aware of that, that when you dig into this, you are going to get that into the cream products. But overall, I think it's beautiful. I like the highlighter. I like the blush, at least the one that I used. I will use this one in another look, and I think it's beautiful. I'm impressed with it. The two little sponges right here, I used this sponge today. I haven't used this one yet, and I will say this is a good sponge. It's not anything groundbreaking. It's a sponge. It's not super firm. It's not super soft. It does have enough give to it. It did what I needed to do. I didn't have any issues getting my foundation on with it, and I think it performed just fine. So I mean, it's a sponge. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. In my mind, a sponge is basically a sponge. But let's go ahead and talk about the eyeshadow palettes. That's the last product in the box. I'm actually really impressed with this. I have not used, I think I've used one product from Laura Geller, and it's a lipstick that my mom gave me. She uses a lot of their stuff and she enjoys it. I don't think she has any of their eyeshadows because I've gotten her hooked on Natasha Denona, but I think the packaging is really cute. I like the color story in here. It is very neutral, but I do appreciate those pops of like orange, green, and pink. It definitely gives it a more fall and springy vibe. And just from the shades that I used, which was what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades, they performed beautifully. They felt nice, they went on nice. I didn't have patching, skipping, fallout. I didn't have anything weird happen. I will let y'all know about creasing in the future. And the shimmers went on really nice. They felt good, they were buttery, they were soft, they are reflective. They're not flippy, they're not multi-chromes, duochromes, or anything like that. But if you're just looking for a simple everyday palette, I think this is a really nice one. I enjoy it. I think the quality is there and it's a really good formula. But overall, I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised with the box this month. I was not looking forward to this. I was really disappointed out the gate as to what I got to choose from and the products that I had coming, but that's what I like about these, is you try them on and you find things that are really good that you never would have picked up. Like, I never would have gone to the Laura Geller site and picked up either of these. I probably never would have picked, actually, I know I never would have picked this up because of the sunscreen in it. I never would have picked this up because I had never heard of the brand until I got one last month. So, you know, you find little hidden gems in these, and overall, I'm really happy with all these products. Now, I will continue to test them out. This is not my final review. These are just first initial impression thoughts, but so far, I really love these and I'm excited. But that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Are you a Boxycharm subscription member? I know most people are not at this point. It's kind of trickling off for me a little bit. It's one of 2 subscriptions that I still have. I have the Ice Cream Beauty box as well, and that one I absolutely love. That one's only $25 a month. You get an eyeshadow palette every single time, and I really love the products in it. But that is another video that is coming in the future. Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let's light it up, have that conversation, and as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.